Going to the NBA, Sacramento Kings fell again last night to the New York Knicks. I know, the New York Knicks losing their ninth consecutive game, falling to 12-20 on the season. But the huge question here, though, is your guy. Should the Sacramento Kings fire your guy, Luke Walton?
John, Luke Walton absolutely needs to go. I know, shocker, right? You guys probably all thought that I was going to say Luke Walton needs to be signed to a contract extension. No, Luke Walton absolutely needs to go. Luke Walton should have been fired last night after that horrific loss that the Kings suffered at the hands of the New York Knicks. Seriously, we're talking about losing to the freaking New York Knicks, who have been the laughingstock in all of sports for at least the last 5 to 7 seasons. And you know what is worse about you losing to the New York Knicks? You didn't lose by 1 point. You didn't lose by 2 points. You didn't lose by 5 points. No, you lost by 20 points to the freaking New York Knicks. We're talking about a team that is worse right now, or one of the worst teams in the NBA in terms of offensive production. You guys all know that I have been a die-hard supporter of Luke Walton ever since his days with the Golden State Warriors.
You said him over LeBron James 2 years
Yes,
ago.
I have been a die-hard supporter of Luke Walton dating back to his days as an assistant with the Warriors. And, I desperately wanted him to get the job with the Lakers when Byron Scott was fired. And like John mentioned, I was a huge supporter of him when he was the Lakers head coach. I even said that couple of years back, that I would take Luke Walton over LeBron James if the Lakers had to choose between those two. That's how strong of a supporter I was in Luke Walton. But as much as I like Luke Walton as a person, Luke Walton is a fantastic human being. But ladies and gentlemen, when you're in sports, when you cover sports, or when you cover sports, or when you talk sports, you got to admit your faults. And I'm going to come on here right now and admit my faults.
No, whoa. I need to record this. So let me take my AirPods out.
Yes, I'll give you a second, John. I'll give you a second. Go ahead.
Just 1 second. All right, Isaiah, get ready.
Give me when to go. Give me a thumbs up or something like that.
You're about to what?
I am about to come on here right now and admit when I was wrong. Luke Walton absolutely needs to be fired. I was wrong about Luke Walton. Luke Walton is a terrible head coach. He is not good at all. This man right here rode the coattails of the Golden State Warriors to head coaching jobs that he should have not gotten. I mean, this guy is a true product of the Warriors' success. If it wasn't him that made Steph Curry and Klay Thompson and Draymond Green and all those guys on that Warriors team when Luke Walton was coaching them, that started 24-0 and en route to a 37-4 start to that season. No, it was them that made Luke Walton who he is and get that record. It was them that got Luke Walton the jobs with the Lakers and got Luke Walton the jobs with the Sacramento Kings. Ever since Luke Walton left the Bay Area, that man has been exposed as a total fraud and a terrible head coach. You look at the Los Angeles Lakers when Luke Walton was the Lakers head coach. The guy never had a winning season with the Los Angeles Lakers, and all the young core players that was with the Lakers at that time that Luke Walton took over. Luke Walton was supposed to be this great developer of young talent. That's why the Lakers hired him in the first place, to be their next head coach, because he was supposed to come in and develop Jordan Clarkson and D'Angelo Russell and Brandon Ingram and Lonzo Ball and make them great basketball players. But guess what, ladies and gentlemen? All those players that I just named, they all were better without Luke Walton than they were with Luke Walton. D'Angelo Russell, you look at him. He became an all-star with the Brooklyn Nets 1 year after leaving Luke Walton. And then Jordan Clarkson, who is a very strong candidate right now for Sixth Man of the Year. He is balling out with the Utah Jazz, and he's doing this without Luke Walton. And then you look at Brandon Ingram. Brandon Ingram has emerged as an all-star without Luke Walton. And then you look at Julius Randle, who is absolutely balling out with the New York Knicks right now, scored 44 points the other night, and he just earned an all-star appearance. And it was after the Lakers gave up on him because they thought that he was trash, because he was trash, but that was under, you guessed it, Luke Walton. You look at all those 5 players that I named. There is one consistent domino when it comes to these players. Luke Walton. They were held back by Luke Walton. Luke Walton is a garbage coach. The Sacramento Kings, if you look at them right now, they should not only be in the thick of the playoff race with that talented roster that they have, who they almost made the playoffs under Dave Yeager. When they fired Dave Yeager, made a very foolish decision, and then hired Luke Walton to be their head coach. They have completely backtracked ever since then. You know, you talk about this team with De'Aaron Fox and Bagley and those guys. They are a talented young team that I believe should be competing for, you know, maybe a 6th or 7th or 8th spot, or even a 5th spot at best in the Western Conference. That's how talented the Sacramento Kings are. But right now, they're poorly utilized by Luke Walton. And also, you know, the thing that right now, what is really hurting the Sacramento Kings and why they are in a 9-game losing streak is because of their defense. I mean, look at these stats, ladies and gentlemen. I have it right now in front of me. The Sacramento Kings, and John, I think you want to listen to this very clearly. The Sacramento Kings, in this 9-game losing streak, they've given up 119 points, 123 points, 124 points, 136 points, 118 points, 122 points, 128 points, 127 points, and last night, 140 points. I have the stats right here. That is how many points the Sacramento Kings have given up in this 9-game losing streak that they currently are. John, I know John is not a big follower of basketball. He's not that big of a basketball fan, but even John knows you cannot be giving up this many points if you want to win basketball games, at least even get to the playoffs. That's how pathetic the defense is with the Sacramento Kings. Dave Yeager at least made the Sacramento Kings competent on defense. Luke Walton has been a complete disaster with the Kings. The Kings players have tuned him out. The Kings suck on defense. Their offense, is a total mess as well. The Sacramento Kings, they need to rip off the Band-Aid right now and just start fresh like the Minnesota Timberwolves did on Sunday when they fired head coach Ryan Saunders. Just do it, Sacramento. Rip off the Band-Aid because your season is dead. You're not going to go to the playoffs. Just start fresh and you can get a leg up on the coaching search. Fire Luke Walton now. Luke Walton needs to be fired this instance.